Welcome to Facebook Live from the UN North Lawn and the Every Woman, Every Child tent. We have 20 minutes and we're going to jump straight into it. Today we're going to talk about bridging from the early years to adolescence and how young people can live their full potential. You think that is just something you do, many people do, but let me just tell you, today I'm Katja Iversen. I'm the president CEO of a global advocacy organization called Women Deliver. But it didn't start like that. I come from an 800 people, very small rural village, and I was the first person in my family to get a college degree. Today I live in New York. Today I dine with presidents and I run this wonderful organization. And that happened because I had a full community that could back me. I lived in a country that treasured women's rights and young people's participation, and that's what got me here today. I'm here with two amazing young leaders, Ola and Arush, and I'll just introduce you a little before in a minute. And we will be talking about what is it that it takes, what is it that you have to break the barriers to get really forward as a young person, but also how can we all work together to make that happen. As we say, there's 1.2 billion adolescent girls in the world, 3 million young people under the age of 30, and that's 3 million opportunities. So may I start with you, Ola? Ola, you are a Women Deliver young leader. You're from Nigeria. You are very accomplished. You've studied law, you finalized your degree, you run your own NGO, and you are really rocking it also at the global level.
I like to think so.
What did that take?
That's a very interesting question, Katja. I would say that it took a lot of investment in my development as an adolescent girl. I started my journey as a 13-year-old girl, the class talkative, and I joined the Nigerian Children's Parliament and I gained insight into issues affecting the girl child, and that was how my passion grew from time to time, and that was how I got the motivation and determination to kick off my organization. So I would say it took the conscious investment of people in my life, my family, my teachers, and a lot of programs that I've been on, including the Women Deliver Young Leaders program, which is really fabulous in forming my advocacy journey.
And Arush, you're from Brooklyn.
Yep.
And you are rocking the STEM world.
I would like to think so too.
Some people would say that's surprising for a girl.
I wouldn't think so. We're just as capable as doing anything anyone can do.
Of course. But tell me a little bit about your journey.
So I was about 8 years old when I decided that I was going to be a scientist, and that was in my fourth grade science class, and we were in the middle of doing a hands-on experiment, and I decided this is what I'm going to do long term. Fast forward to about when I was in high school, that's when I actually started an internship in a lab at the Mechano-Microbiology Lab at Brooklyn College, and I was able to carry out my own experiment. I later entered that experiment into several competitions, including the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair, and I made it there as a finalist.
So that means you used your academic, you used your school to kind of really take it forward there.
I did.
Yeah.
I also joined the 1,000 Girls, 1,000 Futures program at the New York Academy of Sciences at that time, and with the program I was partnered with a mentor who helped guide me through the whole college application process. I'm the first in my family to go to college, so I needed a lot of help, like on picking out classes, what majors to choose, and basically like if I should take a class because like the professor's nice or not.
Okay. So if I may ask both of you, have you ever kind of met some really hard challenges that you had to overcome? And how did you do it?
Of course, so many challenges. So first of all, I started my organization as a final year law student, a broke law student. So I didn't have a team. I just had passion and I ran with it. But the challenges that came along the way were that a lot of people doubted if I knew what I was doing. There were
because you were a girl?
Well, that, and because I was young.
Okay.
So there is a general belief that when young people decide to innovate and solve problems, they are not quite sure where they're going and what they're doing because they don't have experience. So that was the fear, and I was actually able to overlook that by looking forward, looking at the possibilities of what could happen, how I could affect the life of girls in my community. So that was how I overcame that. And then the issue of being young and female is like a double jeopardy. You know, already people think that you should sit still and be quiet because you're a young woman. You know, so
not so much, I guess.
No.
I'm a rebel.
There we go. Yep.
So that, and it's been good so far. I mean, looking at the girls that we come in contact with, the development that goes on in their lives, how they grow, how their perspectives change. Well, in my country, my organization, Girl Pride Circle, we have education clubs across schools for adolescent girls. So we teach them about leadership, about sexual and reproductive health and rights, topics that are not usually within the four walls of the classroom. So seeing their minds shift and their perspectives change, it makes me feel so fulfilled, and it's totally worth it.
Great. And what about you, Arush?
So for me, the challenges were that I was the first in my family to pursue a higher degree. So my family didn't exactly know what that meant. So, I mean, coming from a South Asian family, I was expected to fulfill these roles, and being the first daughter on both sides, I was expected to be, you know, I was expected to be a role model. I had to fulfill these standards set by my family, and I also wanted to pursue a career in STEM, and I also, you know, had to meet those standards as well. So I had to find a balancing point, and for me to fulfill those requirements to become like a successful scientist, I obviously had to intern, and my family initially had a hard time with that. They said,
how did that feel?
It was devastating. I'm just like, this is what I want to do. This is what I meant to do. Like, it was really hard for me to like get my parents to understand initially. I'm like, you know what, this is what I need to do. But they were terrified. They were just like, wait, you're gonna come home so much later. I mean, it's gonna be dark by the time you're gonna come home. Like, anything could happen. Like, you know, on your way home. Are you sure you want to do this? You're gonna be tired. I mean, your siblings need you at home. So I'm just like, I understand that. What if, like, you know, we ended up making a trade-off where I would come home at the same time every day, and I would call, and, you know, I would call on my way home, and the weekends would be dedicated just to my family.
Okay.
That's where
was anybody helping you along that journey, or was it all on your own? I
had a mentor at the New York Academy of Sciences, and she really helped me get through a lot.
Okay. And how is it today with your family?
Oh, it's a lot better. I actually have a younger sister, and they're encouraging her to follow my footsteps. And I know, it's great.
You're really breaking barriers here.
I also have younger female cousins. I'm also the first granddaughter on both sides, so yeah, there's a lot of firsts. Yeah, so a lot of my cousins look up to me. So, and whenever we have family gatherings, a lot of them like come up and like, you know what? How did you get that internship at that lab? And I'm just like, we're getting there. Let me tell you right now.
So you're giving back now.
It's time, yep.
It's good. You mentioned, Ola, the term sexual and reproductive health and rights. What's that?
Okay, in basic English, it means that young people, women, everybody has the right to decide what happens to their bodies. They have the right to make key decisions regarding their bodies, to take charge of their bodies. That's where the power, the individual power of women and girls comes from. So it's just about the issue of rights and choice. That's what summarizes sexual and reproductive health and rights.
That's a good one. Where did you get into that from?
Well, in 2014, when I applied for the Women Deliver Young Leaders program, I was just green behind the ears, passionate about girls' rights. But through the Women Deliver Young Leaders program, I engaged in e-courses that taught me so much about sexual and reproductive health and rights. And I began to learn that SRHR is a key part.
SRHR, that's sexual and reproductive health and rights. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a key part, it's a pillar of women and girls' rights. And by the way, the Women Deliver Young Leaders program is recruiting the 2018 class. So I would really, really be happy to see passionate young people between the ages of 15 and 28 apply.
Okay, well, we can make that pick a little later. But then we just kind of, what should other young people do? Because you've done it and you fought hard, but what would your advice be to other young women who are kind of standing there, maybe they're adolescents now, you know, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13, and they're kind of standing where you were, I don't know how many years ago, 10, 8? Okay.
About
Women don't, we don't talk
don't
about our
age.
age. No, no. What would your advice to them be?
Just step outside your comfort zone. That's the first step you're going to take in any situation, and it's going to be the hardest. But once you step outside, you'll open yourself up to more opportunities, and that's how I initially got started. I was terrified of talking to anyone at one point in my life, and meeting with one teacher led me to my internship. So that is where I got my start, by stepping out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So that's what I encourage other people to do.
To do, but also maybe do it with somebody who can help them.
Definitely reach out to mentors.
Look for allies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's never nice to be alone in that journey.
Oh, yeah.
You always have to go through it alone, but not all the way.
Yep.
Yeah. And what about you?
Well, for me, I would say embrace who you are. Who you are is going to define your journey, the impact you're going to make. If you're the talkative, be the talkative. If you're the shy one, be the shy one. Embrace who you are, and don't let anybody define where you want to go. You can be anything, you can go anywhere.
I like that. So let me just say, I'll ask you. We say in Women Deliver, we say young people are not just leaders of tomorrow, they are also leaders of today. But there's an implication of that. That is, if they're leaders of today, which they definitely are, and we have two of you here, so what does it mean for society? If you're leaders and you are leaders, shouldn't the world listen more to what you have to say? Because I'm looking at a lot of policies and programs and decisions being made without young people at the table.
So it's really sad and sort of awkward that young people have the largest voice in the world, and we have the smallest say in the scheme of things. It shouldn't be. And I think that society has a lot to benefit from young people being at the center of decision making. Young people are energetic, we have fresh ideas, we can be mind-blowing. So I just want to encourage the world to give us a space. Take a risk. Allow us. Let's blow your minds.
Okay, and maybe it's not even a risk, but it's the right thing to do. What do you say, Arush?
So yeah, I definitely agree with everything you had to say. I also think we haven't really been given the right platform up until now, and that platform would be right now is social media. So if you look through Twitter, a lot of movements start with social media. Yeah. So again, now that we have our platform, I do hope, fingers crossed, that in the future we will be incorporated in policy making.
Yeah, and if you're not invited to the table where the decisions are being made, make it into the room, bring your own chair, or get ready to sit on the floor.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So on that regard, what was your advice regarding, let's call it, engaging youth in the decision that affects their lives, including reproductive lives, including school lives, including lives? What would your recommendation be to the world leaders who are meeting right across the lawn here?
Okay, I would say that world leaders need to involve young people from the beginning. So there should be no tokenistic patterns and structures for young people, like just bringing them in to tick some boxes. But young people should be part of the design process, the implementation process, the evaluation process from the beginning to the end. And I believe the world will be better for it.
Yeah, so definitely, give us a chance. If we don't understand anything of something, or if there's something we understand wrong, guide us. Just give us a chance, and I'm pretty sure we'll blow your minds.
So maybe listen, learn, and take action.
Certainly.
That's kind of would be the right advice to the world leaders at the other side here. Yeah, I follow that one. And also, if we look at it, we have the saying, what's it called? Nothing about us without us.
Yes.
And that goes right for this. If we want something that works, we really need to involve the people who know best. And who knows best about young people's and adolescents' lives?
Young people.
So we, Every Woman, Every Child is kind of the guardian of the global strategy for women's, children's, and adolescents' health. It was a big thing to get adolescents in there. And I think we have two fabulous examples of why it's important to really include both the health and the rights and their well-being. But as rights should be, you should get the last word. What do you want to say? Just one sentence to world leaders and to young people across the globe.
Youth, lead now.
Step outside your comfort zone. You can do it.
Do it and sign up for the Women Deliver Young Leaders Program. Its closing date the 12th of October. Thank you.